From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
It's a huge night for July 1st, 2022, as we go into the second half of the United States economy this year. And guess what? The data is not good, but there is something coming back. What is it? The revival of your favorite sitcom? No, but it's going to be a shock. It's coming up in a second. A recession may have begun, a new report out today, and that recession is a big warning signal at issue for your money. That's why you got to get a forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state. And tonight we're going to go over those incredible checks. Over $100,000 in every U.S. state. You get this big money. The bear market is upon us, and you need this money across the land. Go under this video and subscribe. Go under this video and become a member and get these incredible checks. $100,000 of them in every U.S. state. You get them today. The new report out from the Atlanta Fed Governor's Report System says that a recession may have already begun in this U.S. economy. Big trouble, big news, breaking tonight. I have the latest details on what you need to know. Inflation's going higher and also unemployment. What are those warning signals and what does this mean for a big change of this economy? That's what we call phase two. I call it the start of the potential financial cliff. We'll go over the latest details on what you need to know as unemployment, gas prices, and interest rates all going higher. But also happening tonight, other breaking news on many other fronts. Gasoline prices continue to stay high, and Joseph Biden spoke about them overnight. Did he get it right, or is he confusing the situation? And then, out of nowhere, out of the ashes, comes the phoenix, rising like we've never seen it risen before. What is coming out of ashes? It is, drumroll, maestro, the Build Back Better Act is back. It's set for a vote, and it's coming to a door near you. When is it? I have the latest details tonight, but you're not going to wait for the Build Back Better Act. You're going to get stimulus right now because you need the money right now. The financial cliff is looming, and coming. It's just days away, early September, and you're going to go right in this video right now and subscribe. Become a member. Get that incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and get those forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Over $100,000. You deserve it. And the breaking news starts right now. Has a recession already begun in this U.S. economy? Tonight, we ask that question as a major report was released minutes ago that signals this economy may be in big trouble and that financial cliff may not be in September. It may be right now as we start the month of July and we start a brand new night of Evenings LA with the breaking news that there's a forced stimulus check in every U.S. state over $100,000. I'm going to show you how to get it in this recording, and other checks could be coming. The Build Back Better Act is back. Whoa, what a night it is. And you thought it was going to be a slow 4th of July weekend. It is not. I'm ready with all the breaking news. With a side of potato salad and coleslaw ready for you as well. How are you? It's a big night, and this is Evenings LA. Tonight we start with the breaking news, which is this. A big financial concern that this economy may already be in recession as we start the second half of the year and this economy. July 1, 2022 kicks off with a shocker as the Atlanta Fed GDP gauge now says that the second quarter that we just ended could have ended with a negative 1% growth of this economy. That would define it as a recession already underway. Let's go over what's happening tonight. What's happening tonight is you need to get this forced stimulus check in every U.S. state. There's over $100,000 for you. It's for you if you're single, if you're married, if you're with children, without children. Every U.S. state, on benefits, not on benefits, divorce, single, with a home, without a home, renter, not renter, you're going to get this money. I'm going to show you how to get it later in this recording. This money came from the president. It came by executive action. Did not come from Congress. I don't want to confuse the two subject matters. This money is law now, and it's federal stimulus. It's not state stimulus. It's not paid by the federal government. It's not paid by the states. Has nothing to do with your governor, has nothing to do with your state legislator. They don't write the checks. It's not their money. It's not their law. It's federal law. I got it for you late in this recording. It is in every U.S. state, and all you have to do is go under this video, subscribe, and become a member, and stay to the second half of this video as we go over these incredible checks. These massive checks are over $100,000 with a series of checks, and you need to get them if this data we start tonight is correct. What is the data? That there may potentially already be a recession underway tonight in the American economy. Folks, this is a shocker of a story. Now, let me give you a background on this. There's a lot of parts of the Federal Reserve across the country, different regions, and one of the regions is the Atlanta Fed. And one of their benchmarks they use is called the GDP Now. It's a gauge. It tracks economic data on a live data point. So it's not delayed, it's live. What is its track record? What is the history of accuracy? In the last 10 years, it has a 0% error rate. So it's been on the money for over a decade. And it has seen the data on a regular basis accurate to a negative 0.3% inaccuracy. So it's basically a perfect record in the last 10 to 20 years. What is their data point tonight? The data tonight is that based upon what they saw in live reporting from this economy, they see that the month of June 30th, ended the second quarter with the second negative GDP quarter of the year for this U.S. economy. That would define it as a recession underway tonight. They define that the first quarter of this year declined the GDP of 1.6%. That's not in dispute. We all agree that the first quarter of this year was a negative GDP growth, 1.6% down. But what was the second quarter we just ended yesterday, June 30th? We won't have that official number until July 28th. But we're not going to wait for that because we're going to hear it right now in prime time on AB's LALATE. It comes from the GDP Now gauge, which is live data. And they're predicting the July 28th data will be a negative 1.6%. That defines it as recession. What is a recession? Now, this is where it gets really interesting. A recession is defined as 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. And if this data is correct, folks, you should be scared right now. You should be worried because this would indicate we're already in a recession. When I was the first American broadcaster for financial news reporting a recession in February of this year, I was the only broadcaster to say we're going to have a recession. No one else would dare say it. In February. Then in April, Deutsche Bank said that a recession would be coming, first bank to announce it. In the months that followed, several banks would never use the word recession. I said the recession is coming in 2023. Most analysts now agree there's a recession next year, but they disagree upon when. This is a shocker to me. This is a shocker to analysts as well, that the data signals that we may already be in recession tonight. If there was ever a reason to get a stimulus check, it's right this moment. This data is very scary data because a recession is not COVID. It's not a COVID lockdown. A recession is not like anything you've seen of a generation. The last time we had a recession, it was very dramatic. And the scope of this recession is very concerning across the board. What you need to know is that you cannot wait to get that stimulus check. You need to go right in this video and become a member. Become a member, get that incredible newsletter that has all those incredible checks in there. Join the channel right under the video where it says join the channel. Join it right now. Become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. And then get those stimulus checks, already law, in every U.S. state from the federal government, not from the states, that are over $100,000 on average. Why is this data about recession so scary tonight? The data is scary because a recession is defined by 2 negative quarters of GDP growth. The data will not be confirmed until July 28th, but you don't wait till July 28th because basically, if Americans woke up on July 28th and saw this data, their socks would curl up. They would be freaking out because they would say, wait a second, recession this year? We thought it's coming next year, not in July, not even in September, not even in December this year. July, let's go back to that graphic. I've been warning this viewership of this channel for several months that there's 3 phases of this economy and that the phase of recession is January of next year. That phase 2 would be in September, a economic downturn, which I define as a financial cliff. We learned about the financial cliff earlier this week when Jay Powell was interviewed by Liz Warren during that Senate Banking Committee. She said, is it possible we're having a financial cliff? Yes, it is possible. They didn't give you the date, but I believe it's September. Imagine if we're looking at this graphic and I say now to September is phase 1, that phase 2 is the financial cliff, phase 3 is the recession, and suddenly the recession is the phase 1. Folks, you got to be scared. You got to be scared because this is something that even the brightest minds of financial news and financial analysts did not see coming. You got to become a member. Go right in this video and get that incredible newsletter and get these forced stimulus checks now in every U.S. state. Let me go over the comments of this breaking news, the reaction, and what we learned going into this news as well. Wow. The comments come from Nicholas Kolas, who's co-founder of the Data Track Research. The models, which is the Atlanta Fed's GDP Now that gave us this data, long track record is excellent. Since the Atlanta Fed's running model started in 2011, it's basically had no errors. He said that stocks have taken no confidence in the recent declines. Let me go over what you need to know about this data is that the National Bureau of Economic Research says that the pure definition of recession is 2 negative quarters. And while this may not be really a recession yet, they say that since World War II, there's been no evidence when there's negative quarters and not a recession. Let's say that another way. If this is true, if on July 28th we have realized we've had now 2 negative quarters of growth of this economy this year, on July 28th we learned that. Since World War II, every time that's happened, we've had a recession. So it doesn't matter if you don't define it as a recession or not a recession. The track record is when there's 2 negative quarters of GDP growth, you always have a recession since the World War II days. Wow. Jay Powell says, we're fully understand and appreciate the pain that we're going through in dealing with higher inflation, and we have the tools to address and use them and to get inflation down to 2%. The process will involve some pain, but it will not be persistent. True or false? Very false. Jay Powell's not getting inflation down to 2%. No one believes that. I was the first to say that. He's not getting it down to 2%. He does not have the tools. I said 4% last February. Since then, the Department of Labor and Department of CBO, Congressional Budget Office, confirmed my reporting. And analysts now are so irate that every time Jay Powell says 2% inflation, they just want to scream because it's not a believable number. He also does not have the tools to get inflation down. True or false? Let's look at the numbers tonight. Jay Powell will have that FOMC meeting in early July in just a few days. And what are they going to do? 0.75 of a basis point increase. But what have we seen in the last 24 hours? What we've seen in the last 24 hours is that inflation remains high and unemployment continues to grow despite what Jay Powell does. And Jay Powell's going to do a 0.75 basis point increase in just a few days. That's very scary for you as well. What's the data tonight? Core personal consumption expenditures rose 4.8% year to date for the month of May, we learned 24 hours ago. And that's not good because guess what? When you look at headline inflation in that number, it shot higher for the month at 6.3%, which is exactly what it was for the month of April. This is a May read. And for the month of March, it was 6.6%. So in 3 months of Jay Powell raising interest rates at the Federal Reserve as Fed governor, it hasn't worked. And yet he continues to raise rates because gasoline continues to track higher. Let's go over that graphic again so you understand how this works. If gasoline continues to remain high, and gasoline is part of the component of a number called the Consumer Price Index, the CPI, if the CPI remains high because gasoline remains high, then the Federal Reserve will raise rates. Let's say that again. If gasoline stays high, then the CPI stays high, then the Federal Reserve raises rates. And guess what you get? You get a recession. Tonight we learn a little bit more about the situation and why a recession is, at this point, undoubtedly going to happen. It's inevitable. Joe Biden said a recession is not inevitable days ago. But in the last 8 hours, he had new comments about gasoline. And he continues to confuse the situation, evading the solution. Tonight we learn that a recession is inevitable because the White House admits they're not changing their policy. Let's go over the equation. In speaking at the NATO conference less than a few hours ago, the President of the United States said Americans need to be used to elevated gasoline prices because they're going to be here for a while. And that the problem at issue is Vladimir Putin. True or false? It's a half story. It's not actually particularly accurate. Gasoline prices initially shot up because Putin invaded Ukraine and we embargoed or banned Russian oil. That's why they went up initially. Why did they remain up is not because of Putin. That's a false narrative. Why are they up to date? Not because of West Texas oil producers, not because of OPEC, not because of ExxonMobil, not because of the Keystone Pipeline, and not because of how much gasoline we have here. It's because the leadership has fallen apart. The Western allies, from Macron, Chancellor of Germany, Scholz, and Joe Biden, they all understood when Putin invaded Ukraine, 3.5 million barrels of gasoline are missing per day. If you're missing gasoline per day, the gasoline prices go up. What do? You go buy the gasoline. Where? From 5 countries. They are Venezuela, Brazil, OPEC plus, Saudi Arabia, or Iran. And have any of the Western allied countries done that? No. Why not? Not particularly clear why. And yet the narrative from the White House is the gasoline is high because of Putin. It's not consistently high because of Putin. The narrative is that the gasoline will go down if we do something with Texas oil producers. It won't. There's not 3.5 million barrels of gasoline in the ground. And the narrative is that Americans need to endure this a little bit longer. You want to just pull your hair out when you say that statement. Why? When you hear that statement, why? Because analysts believe that the war in Ukraine and the war in Ukraine with Russia will be years on end. They will not be ending anytime soon. And if it goes on for years, that means that the embargo of the Russian oil will continue. And if the White House continues to not buy the 3.5 million barrels of gasoline, you're going to recession. You're going to recession. You see how this works? If the White House continues to not buy the gasoline, we go into recession because the CPI, the Consumer Price Index number, goes higher, and the Federal Reserve raises interest rates, and we go into recession. It's very, very simple, but somewhere in the equation, the White House is not understanding this. What's important to understand is that a recession may have already begun, but if the recession has already begun, then if inflation remains as high as it is, we're going to stay in that recession. And if the Biden administration continues to confuse the situation by not finding the solution, which is buying gasoline, then we're definitely going into recession. My goodness, what a night it is. And we're just getting started. What's also important to understand is that the recession in the United States could be dragged in faster or happen quicker, not just because of our inflation, not just because of J-Powell, not just because of our domestic policy, but also because of international policies. Tonight we learn that a recession may have already begun in Europe as well, and they may be drawing us into the recession faster than we ever thought. What's the breaking news tonight? Christine Lagarde, who's the central bank lead in Europe, signals that she's coming in with an interest rate spike. Here we go again. They have the same problem. Their gasoline is higher because of Putin and because they haven't bought on the gasoline, and they're raising interest rates. Going to solve the situation? No. Going to cause a major downturn? Yes. And the downturn has already begun. Let's look at the numbers tonight. Over in Europe, the interest rates and the inflation is out of control. In Italy and Germany, the inflation tonight is believed to be over 10%. In the United States, even higher, as worrisome. And that concern is big problems. We're still expecting positive growth rates due to the domestic buffers against the growth maximum, says Lagarde. But analysts are now projecting that there will be a growth of less than 1% in Europe within moments. France and Spain are experiencing inflation not seen since 1985 at over 10%. And that the interest rate hikes at the ECB, the European Central Bank, will be high in the month of July and then in the month of September, says Christine Lagarde in comments announced today as well. What about stocks? Stocks are relatively flat today, not any better than they were in the first half of the year. The first half of the year was the most dramatic we've seen in nearly 50 years. The S&P ended the first half of this year down for the lowest amount in nearly 50 years. As stocks continue to erode as we're in a bear market, but a bear market is just the start of the equation. Let's understand how bad this is going to be. The bear market of this economy is not what you're going to see as a bottom. How bad is this going to be? In a bottom, you're going to see this economy witness the markets drop nearly 48%. And that 48% is not going to happen right away. The stock market crash is just getting started. Stocks are down 26% year to date. That's the whole market. But the rest of the market will be down 48%, and that will take 2 years to go down. What are we going to see in the month of July? You're going to see a lot of data in the month of July with that European Central Bank announcement. You're going to see Jay Powell back in the United States announcing his Fed rate hike, which will be 0.75 basis point. And when we look at the stocks, we're going to see those corporate earnings. Consumer spending is going to shrink income is going to shrink. Confidence is already going to derail. And what are you going to see? You're going to see more of what happened this week when Bed Bath & Beyond went beyond. Bed Bath & Beyond went beyond when it announced a major shortfall on those earnings, and they saw their stock fall 20%. This 4th of July weekend, Americans are traveling in record numbers, but do not expect that to be sustained. Analysts also believe that while the markets and the airports will be crowded this weekend, that's not going to be sustained because the travel price of tickets is out of control. And Americans are doing that sort of jugular one-time binge purchase coming out of lockdown, and they're not going to continue to buy at these rates. A U.S. round-trip business class trip ticket to Europe this weekend. How much do you think it is? Jump in the live chat. I'll come back to that question in a second. It's very expensive, so do not guess $800. How much is a round-trip ticket to Europe business class at this 4th of July weekend? I want to see your questions and I want to see your answers in the live chat. Let's see who gets as closest. You're going to be shocked. I'll give you a hint. It's in the thousands of dollars. It's not in the hundreds of dollars. Yeah, I think you just revised your answer. We saw that headline inflation rise dramatically yesterday, but we also saw a major other announcement yesterday as well. And the announcement was that the combination of slowing growth and EPS progress shows that monetary policy is shrinking this economy in dramatic levels. That shrinkage of the economy in dramatic levels needs assistance. And what is that assistance? It's stimulus. That stimulus is needed right away. Interest rates going higher, inflation going higher, unemployment continue to stagger at massive levels. What you need is that stimulus, and that is why you have to go into this video right now and become a member. Go right in this video and get that 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state. It is a lot. Let's go over that 4 stimulus check starting right now. These 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state are wonderful. They're over $100,000 on average, and you qualify. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, go get them. If you have children, if you don't have children, go get them. If you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, RB, go get them. $100,000. There's a series of checks, and they're federal stimulus. Let's say that again. Federal stimulus, the government, the U.S. government. They're not from your state. They're in every U.S. state because I'm describing where they're located, but they're not state stimulus checks. They're not paid by the states. They're not state law. They're not administered by the states. The checks may be mailed or put in the envelope or, put the stamp on the envelope by the state. But other than that, the state has nothing else to do with the checks. They're federal stimulus. And where did it come from? Not from Congress, not from a vote. They came from the executive branch, Joseph Biden. Series of executive orders happened in the month of March, and those executive orders have been labeled as checks on this channel. Check A, check B, check C. And the totality of those checks, over $100,000. In the second half of this video, we're going to go over how you go get those checks. You do the following things right now. You go right in this video, subscribe. You go right in this video, become a member. Join the channel to get these incredible checks in every U.S. state. Join the channel, become a member, and get that incredible newsletter that everyone is talking about. Viewers of this channel have been getting these checks since March. If you just found this channel tonight, welcome. If you just found this channel recently, welcome. You get these checks right now. Because if there's a recession tonight, then who is worried about a financial cliff 2 months from now, 3 months from now, 90 days from now? You got to get these checks right away. Let's look at that graphic again. That graphic on this channel for the last few days has been this one. Financial cliff is coming September to January. That financial cliff is very severe, but if the recession believed to be in phase 3 is now in phase 1, then the financial cliff could be overnight. What is a financial cliff, and why does it require you to get a stimulus? Financial cliff is when Americans think that the current state of the economy will remain the current state of the economy. They think it's pretty good. They think it's dealable. They think they can live with it. And they think it's sustainable. And then one morning they wake up and there's another reality. It's not how their life was the day before. A financial cliff means that they did not know that was coming. They're walking along and they literally fall off the cliff. It's the visual. You're walking along, you're thinking you're in a status quo that's fine, a current environment that's fine, and then suddenly you fall off a cliff because you did not know, you were not learning to earning, you weren't watching LALATE, you were not learning where this economy was on a regular basis, and you got blindsided. Let's go over how the financial cliff would involve you and your money. First, if you're an employee, this was what could possibly happen. You go to work on a Monday morning, and suddenly there's a sign on the door, closed for business. The business is shut down, and you've lost your job. Now, if you are an independent contractor, PUA, you may think there's PUA assistance out there. It's not. PUA is gone. It was established under 2020 in the first stimulus. It's gone. So there's no unemployment stimulus for you. If you're a W-2 employee, it's a department store, and your department store's closed. Good for gone. Guess what? Those extended weeks of benefits are gone. PEUC. What about that extra boost, that $600 a week that went on top of your unemployment benefits? Gone. What if you're a small business owner and you're about to lose your business? Is there an EIDL grant, an EIDL loan, a PPP grant? All gone. You're going to lose your business. Let's say if you don't even work, if you're a retiree in your home and you're relaxing at home and then suddenly you're realizing, I'm short on funds. I don't know if I can make rent. I'm not going to be evicted because they have an eviction moratorium, right? Wrong. Eviction moratorium is gone. It's no longer on the books. It's gone from 2020. Fearing you're going to lose your home to foreclosure, there is no foreclosure moratorium. Fearing you're going to not be able to pay the bill for the electric bill, the water bill, the heating oil, or the gas bill because it's through the roof, there is no deal on the books anymore that prevents them from turning off the bills. The utility service, they can turn it off. This is a financial cliff. This is what you do not wait around for. That is why you get a forced stimulus check that is in every U.S. state tonight. Tonight is July 1, 2022. Financial cliff, in my opinion, is September. The analyst out of Atlanta's Fed GDP Now says there's a recession already underway tonight. So either it's bad news today or it's bad news in September. You don't wait to get a stimulus check. You go right tonight under this video, you join this channel, you become a member, and you get these forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Now that I've told you the warning signal of where this economy is, where it's going, and the importance of getting money right now, I want you to do that. But I also want to give you some good news. The Build Back Better Act is back, baby. Oh my goodness. Incredible. Now, reason why I did not leave with Build Back Better Act in this video, reason I did not start with Build Back Better Act is because it's not going to pay you any money fast enough, soon enough. So do not wait for Build Back Better Act because I will not be able to build you back better if you wait for it, because you will fall off the financial cliff waiting for Build Back Better Act to get passed. But there is big news tonight, and I have a lot of it. I give you a teaser of it on afternoons earlier today. I'll have more about it starting right now in the big second half. The big second half is that Build Back Better Act is back, that there's a proposed voting date. Yes, there is, and that they hope to get it done. Oh my goodness. And they have a negotiated deal with Joe Manchin confirmed. My goodness, where did this epiphany, where did this monstrosity of a vortex of good news come from? The Build Back Better Act is back. If you are a long-standing viewer of this channel, if you are not a donut guy, you know how to digest this information and this breaking news. Great. I'm going to get that money, but first I'm going to get the other money. First, I'm going to go in this video, become a member. I'm going to get this money. I'm going to get through this financial cliff. I'm going to be prepared. And when Build Back Better Act becomes law, I'm going to get that money as well. We're going to go over when Build Back Better Act would potentially become law. We'll go over all the breaking news. It's a lot of details. We're going to go over what's in Build Back Better Act, what's surviving. We're going to go over the vote. We're going to go over the negotiations, and we'll go over the reactions. But first, after the commercial break, we're going to get you some checks today. Not 5 weeks from now and not 5 months from now. They're forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get them. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get them. If you rent, if you own, if you have children, if you don't have children, they're in every U.S. state. They come from the federal government. They're not funded from your state. And what do? 2 things. 3 things. You go into this video, you subscribe. You go into this video, you become a member. Join the channel, and you stay for the second half. We got a lot coming up. It's a great night. Who would have known the day before the 4th of July weekend I would have a major news story like this? That's why you're going to stay with me all weekend long. We have a lot of major breaking news to go over all weekend long. Go into this video right now. Become a member. Join the channel. Get the incredible newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. Become part of the channel that is number 3 most watched for financial news in America, heading to number 2 with a brand new look and a brand new exciting rollout in less than 90 days. In the second half of this video, we're going to get those 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state. But first, here's a little bit about the members community page. I'll be back with you in 60 seconds. As America's most watched show for financial news in prime time continues in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now in a big second half of Evenings LA for July 1, 2022. As we start the second half of the year, the excitement is brewing for a lot of big money, but the great money starts tonight. A 4th stimulus check is in every U.S. state tonight. It has been there since the month of March. Those 4 stimulus checks are over $100,000. They came from the President of the United States. You're going to get them. I'm going to go over all those incredible checks starting right now. Hope you're having a beautiful evening. And as a programming note, I will be with you all weekend long recording this 4th of July weekend. Back in the month of March, viewers of this channel asked me to find them a 4 stimulus check in every U.S. state, and I found them. These 4 stimulus checks in every U.S. state, 1, are over $100,000 on average. 2, law, the currently law. And 3, they came from the federal government's White House executive branch. Let's go over that. First, I want you to focus on these checks and only these checks for the next 4 minutes. These are checks that came from the White House by executive order. Executive order meaning does not need a vote of Congress, does not come from Congress, does not need anything from Joe Manchin, does not need a vote. These came from executive order from Joseph Biden. Number 2, they're paid for, they're funded by the federal government. So they are federal checks, even though they may be mailed by the states, has nothing to do with your state governor, has nothing to do with your respective state. You don't like your state, you don't like Tennessee, you don't like Kentucky, you don't like Mississippi, tough. These aren't from those states. This is from the federal government. The people who mail you the checks are the states, but it's not their funds, it's not their law. They're just putting the check in the mail to you. And with that, let's go over these incredible checks. The eligibility is huge and the payments are incredible. And I've given them a lettering system on this channel. The very first check is check A, because that's the start of the alphabet. Let's go over all of these incredible checks, starting with check A. It's a $6,500 to $12,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. My goodness. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. If you are on benefits, go get it. It's called the Homeowners Weatherizing Grant Check. And how do you get this incredible check? Step 1, subscribe to this channel. Go right on this video and hit the subscribe button. Step 2, go under the video and join the channel. Click the button which says join the channel, become a Purple Hawk, Purple Power, or Calcino VIP. Step 3, get the newsletter. Go down in that newsletter Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, delivered by the YouTube alerts, till you find check A. And when you see check A, there it is. That's how you go get check A. It's in the Incredible newsletter. You go down to check A, and when you see it, you click the link. It sends you into the nationwide website. Then you choose your state. Then you choose the homeowner's weatherizing grant, and you're done. So simple. But you're not stopping there yet. You're going to go get check B. Check B is a $15,000 to $80,000 for stimulus check in every U.S. state. Single individual, $75,000 less, go get it. Married couple, $150,000 less, go get it. How do you get it? You do the same thing. You go right on this video and subscribe. You go right on this video and join the channel. And then you go right down to the membership newsletter delivered to you Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and you find check B. You click the link. It goes into the nationwide website. You choose your state, and there you go. You pounce and apply. It's called the Homeowners Grant Check. You notice how much we've done so far already? And we're only 2 minutes into this section of this video. We've done check A, which is about $12,000. We've done check B, which is $80,000. There you go. We're almost at $100,000. We're not just stopping there yet. I got more than $100,000 for you. Whammo. $2,000 a month on average over 12 months. An MSC, monthly stimulus check on average. This is check C. Check C is enormous, averaging $45,000 for many viewers. A lot of viewers have gotten over $150,000. And how do you get check C? Subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. Then go right under the video where it says join the channel and click the link and become a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino, VIP. Go right down the newsletter till you find check C. It'll tell you who to call, where to say, and what to say. And get those incredible check C's. That brings you to nearly 140, 150,000. Check C, I think, in my opinion, is going to be one of the most important checks of 2022. Why? We got a teaser of it early in this video. Because all the things you need assistance with are in check C. And if you don't get check C and you need assistance and you can't pay those bills, you're in big trouble. Let me go over the details of each of them right now. If you cannot make rent, there is no eviction moratorium anymore. It's gone from 2020. And that's why you need to go get check C. If you cannot make the mortgage payment, you need to go get check C. Mortgage payments are part of the check C. Then if you have problems making the utility bill, you need to go get check C. Utility bills are part of check C. Let's look at the success stories of check C, which date back to the earliest days of the channel. We can check C's for many, many years. Why? Because it was initially a predated 3/3 stimulus. Then when third stimulus became law, there was a lot more money of check C. Today it's called check C. Do you want $20,000 to $30,000 of rent paid? Then go get check C. Look at these numbers. From Nisi all the way up to Elizabeth. Do you want $15,000 of utilities? All the way from $5,000 for Angela to Mark's brother-in-law, $15,000. Go get check C. Here's Snap. $25,000 over 10 years for Mark's brother-in-law. That's $250,000. Combinations. Nisi got combinations of checks. So did Mark. So did Nancy. But where are they today? All these viewers have listened and learned to go keep on getting checks on a regular basis. Every few days, you should keep on getting checks. Nisi went from $23,000 to $50,000. Mark went from $32,000 to $166,000. He got $50,000, then he got check, then he went to $100,000, then he got check B. He's at $166. Lorraine, she was at $105. Now she's at nearly $150. She keeps on getting checks. This is how you do it. Let's recap. First, go under this video and hit that subscribe button. Number 2, there's a little bell at the front of this channel. Hit that bell so all notifications are turned all on. Number 3, go under this video where it says join the channel. Click the link and become a member. And get that membership newsletter Monday through Friday. Go right down and apply for check A. Get check B. Get check C. This is 2022. The landscape tonight for July 1, 2022, is that there's a financial cliff coming. There is either a recession currently underway tonight or coming around the corner. And you need to get these checks right away. You cannot wait for these checks. These checks require you to do something. This is 2022, so I need you to forget what you did in 2020. I need you to forget what you did in 2020. This is the way that stimulus is paid in 2022. The federal government is not going to pay $100,000 to every person just because. You got to go and get it. You got to pounce, Purple Hawks. Go get the money tonight. When is the newsletter delivered? It's delivered Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time via the YouTube alerts. The YouTube alerts send you those alerts whenever there's a new video or a new post to YouTube by myself. And at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, that's West Coast, know your time zone, there's an alert that says New LA Post. The first line says New LA Newsletter. You go down to that alert, and then it says click here to go into the post. You go into the post. Make sure you know your time zone, number one. And number two, make sure you remain signed into YouTube. Don't sign out. A lot of people's cell phones are doing crazy things. Make sure a cell phone keeps you signed into YouTube. Because if you're not signed into YouTube, you do not get access to your member benefits. Among those wonderful member benefits, also rolled out brand new, is the wonderful LATE worksheets. The wonderful LATE worksheets at the third line of the newsletter. What are these worksheets? It is a wonderful created PDF by me for you that helps you understand and get the money that's available in America's economy today. Page 1 of the worksheets gives you an opportunity, a place to take notes on inflation, recession, labor, and the Federal Reserve. Page 2 of the worksheet is perhaps the most popular one. It's for stimulus. And it's a table created me for you. All this stuff is unique to LA. It's not seen anywhere else in the landscape of financial broadcast news. It's a table. On the first line, the first column of the table, check A, check B, check C, has a place for you to then in the second column, take notes. When did you apply? When did you get paid? What months did you get paid for? How much you get paid? And who is the contact and their extension that you spoke to? Very important, because you're going to get round after round. You're going to get 3 months now and 3 months thereafter. You need to keep track of who paid you, when they paid you, and for what months they paid you. The worksheets also has a wonderful page for your fifth stimulus. Your benefits are going up. We're going to go over that in a second. For you to calculate how much your benefits will go up, there's a wonderful page in there as well for gasoline prices, which we went over earlier this recording. Gasoline is relatively bland tonight. It's about $1.13. It's come down. It's expected to go up after the 4th of July weekend, but it is down from earlier in the month. The month started up 35 cents, but then really pulled back a lot. And it has that, I'm referring to gasoline international price of Brent crude. The U.S. unleaded AAA national average is about a 480 tonight as well. It's been fluctuating throughout the day. And then the final page of the LATE worksheet is 7 stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness. What is the update on that tonight as well? Let's go over the update on 7 stimulus, student loan debt forgiveness. Major announcement is just around the corner, and it's from this guy. It's going to be an executive order announcement, and the executive order announcement will be that he is closing the chapter with a big bang. The big bang will be the final announcement for student loan debt forgiveness. Let's go over what you need to know starting tonight for July 1. The President of the United States is likely to announce that debts for individuals who make $150,000 or less that year are forgiven if the federal up to $10,000. This is federal loan debts, student loan debts, $10,000. The President of the United States has already forgiven student loan debts for individuals who became disabled after graduation, went to work in the nonprofit or public sector, or individuals whose debts were procured by fraud by the university against them. And with that, I think it's time to go back in time. Do you want to go back in time? I think you do. You ready to go back in time? Let's do it as a family. Let's swing it around the pier and go back, because Build Back's back. Build Back Better Act is back on, baby, with a proposed vote for July. My goodness, are you spinning dizzy yet? Well, I hope you are, because I'm a little dizzy about this as well. The Build Back Better Act is back, baby. In this recording, we're going to go over what part of Build Back Better Act is back, when is the vote, what are the negotiations, and what should you expect. First, let's go over back. Is it back? First, let's go over a summary of what's going on. Is Build Back back? Yes, it is back. Is Build Back better? Still better? Maybe not. Is Build Back Better an act? Are they going to act on it? They say they are, but maybe not. So let's start with that. The latest narrative tonight from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer is that Build Back Better Act will go to a vote before the August recess. They now say tonight, breaking news tonight, that the Build Back Better Act will go to a final vote and become law in late July. What is my opinion of the situation? I gotta laugh. I mean, how many times have we been told this by this group in the last 2 years? In June of 2020, we were told that they were going to extend unemployment assistance of FPUC, PUA, and UI before the August recess of 2020. They didn't, and FPUC expired. Hence, FPUC Retro, the big subject matter of this channel, the later that year. Never got it done. FPUC expired. Number two, in July of 2021, they said that they were going to get the second stimulus. They said that they were going to get the Build Back Better Act done before that recess. They never got it done. In fact, they never got it done anytime in 2021. So the narrative tonight is that they're going to get it done. There's no reason that we should not pass this bill through Congress in July, says Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer in a breaking news report in a news release obtained by LATE News tonight. This is brand new tonight. And that they're telling all members of Congress to work with an urgency that the situation deserves. Everyone can just sort of laugh at that point. You want to laugh? Yeah, just laugh right now because it's sort of ridiculous. How many times have we seen the same quote? Urgency. Well, if it's an urgency, you would have passed it last year. Yeah, I got it. Okay, so let's go to the substance. Now that we got the imminent around the corner, any moment, those expressions, those idiom. Nancy Pelosi has them on T-shirts in her office. Let's go to the substance. Is it going to get done? It looks like it is going to get done. First, the Four Corners negotiated a deal just days ago. What? Who? If you've been with this channel, this is breaking news tonight, folks. You haven't heard this ever before. If you've been with this channel for 2 years, you remember that in 2020, December 2020, I came up with the idea of put a stimulus check in the continuing resolution, the CR. Who were the people who negotiated that? On a particular night in December, Nancy Pelosi, Kevin McCarthy, Chuck Schumer, and Mitch McConnell, the Four Corners met at the time. They were the Four Corners because Chuck was the minority, and they agreed to get a deal. The four-party leaders met last week before the July 4th weekend, and they reportedly got a deal. Wow. Second Manchin. They reportedly also now have gotten a deal as well with Joe Manchin. The deal with Joe Manchin has been confirmed by Manchin's team as well, and it's regarding prescription medication. This was the holdout provision, and Manchin reportedly agreed to it in the last 24 hours. Now, I want to make something very clear to all of you. One, I'm not going to tolerate anyone running Mitch McConnell quotes on this channel. So if you jump in the live chat and says Mitch McConnell says this, Mitch McConnell is not needed. Let's get up to date on this. This is a reconciliation bill. A reconciliation bill requires no votes by Republicans. So Mitch McConnell can say everything he hates about the bill. His vote is not needed. Number two, there's a lot of negative quotes out there from Joe Manchin in 2021 and early 2022. And if you have the audacity to send me a quote from him months ago, weeks ago, I'm just going to delete it because that's not the current breaking news tonight. It's Fox News every night, every hour, where people want to run that Fox News quote that says, I have a Joe Manchin quote negative about Build Back Better Act from, 5 centuries ago. Hey, Fox News, that's not the breaking news tonight. Let's go over the reaction. The reaction starts with, of course, Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell says tonight, let me be perfectly clear, there will be no bipartisan USICA as long as the Democrats are pursuing a bipartisan, a reconciliation bill. What is USICA? Okay, here is the new twist tonight. There is another bill being worked on. It's a bipartisan bill. It's not roads and bridges. It's another year. It's another bipartisan bill. The bipartisan bill is for semiconductor chips that go in your cars, chips that go in your computers. There's a shortage of them. And all the major computer and auto manufacturers have gotten congressional leaders, both Republicans and Democrats, to do a bipartisan bill to get these chips made faster that would remove the supply chain and help deal with inflation in the U.S. economy. And those corporations also have big donors in both the Republican and Democrat Party. That bill is not done yet, but it's close to the finish line. So Mitch is saying if you Democrats try to do your recon, us Republicans will withdraw support for the USICA. Nonsense, is nonsense. They're not going to do it. The reaction from leaders is that this is just par for the course of what Mitch always says. Here's the press secretary. This takes loyalty to special interests over working to Americans to a new and shocking height. We're not going to back down after this outrageous threat. Ooh, boy. We also have other comments as well coming on in. It says, no matter how more complicated this is my view, but it is essential that we get this urgent matter, and the bipartisan compromise has been worked out. We're not going to touch it. I think there's nothing to be talked about that is worrisome here as well. Then some more stern warnings came from Donald Byer, who is a Democrat from Virginia. When he heard the message from Mitch, he said, this is nothing new. It's being a Mitch. I've watched it on it. No. He said, it's nothing new. It's Mitch McConnell stalling the bill for weeks as he's done. Now he's admitting it. It's classic McConnell. And the rest of the world is not waiting for us to act, says Kevin McCarthy. Our global competitors are investing in this industry. That's actually from Kevin McCarthy, Republican. So on the House side, they're not even agreeing with Mitch McConnell. Takeaway is that Build Back Better Act will get done, number one. The vote, if you want to listen to Nancy and Chuck, take it with a grain of salt. Do I believe it's going to get done before July? No. I mean, it'll get done. I don't know when it's going to get done. In my opinion, does it matter what the vote is before July or after July? No, because you will not get a check in your hand fast enough. Let's assume the vote is by the end of July. Would you get a check from Build Back Better Act fast enough? And what is fast enough? My opinion, fast enough is by September. No, you wouldn't get it fast enough. Is it going to come? Yes, it's going to come. Is it going to be enough? Here's where we need all big laugh tonight. Some people have really good memories. Some people have, sort of distorted memories. Some people have bizarro memories. And in the time that the Build Back Better Act has been around, some people have sort of reinvented Build Back Better Act in their mind. They now believe that Build Back Better Act in their mind also includes a monthly Rolls-Royce delivery to your home, a plate of steaks every night, and also includes a nice potpourri of beautiful zucchini bushes. It's just very peculiar how people have now remembered Build Back Better Act to include stuff it never had in there. So let me recap. There's $100,000 of forced stimulus checks in every U.S. state for you tonight. You can go get them tonight in every U.S. state. Build Back Better Act, is it giving you $100,000? Never. If it passes, it's never going to give you. What is in Build Back Better Act last time we looked at it? And will it still be back in there? Or will Build Back Better be worse? In my opinion, Build Back Better Act will not be as good as it was before. There was $25,000 to purchase your first home. Will that survive? I think it should survive because the mortgage industry and the housing industry is out of control and crashing, burning, and by the moment. So I don't see why it would not survive. The $250 billion of free home health care for seniors and people on disabilities. Well, I don't know. This was among the medical issues negotiated with Joe Manchin last night, which I'm getting to in a second. The MSCs. Let's be very frank. You see this MSCs? It's $6,500. Are you going to wait around and not get $100,000 because you won $6,500? No, you would be ridiculous. And the MSCs are not confirmed. They're not definitely in there, and they're not definitely surviving either. $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. For 6 months, that's $6,500. So would you pass up $100,000 for $6,500? You'd be crazy. You would never admit that to your friends or neighbors. It would be embarrassing if you did. The totality of the Build Back Better Act is about $15,000 to $80,000, but it requires you to do something to get the checks. It was never automatic payments at all. Let's look at the checks because every check in there required you to do something. Cluster number one, hazard pay. Would that survive? I believe it would. It's one more year. The earned income tax credit established under third stimulus, I believe it would survive. Again, you got to do something for that. $4,000 of elder care. You would have to do something to do that, to get it. $4,000 of care for young children, $3,600 for the CTC, one more year. You would have to do something to get that as well. I believe it would survive. And then the home repairs, yes, you would have to do something to get that as well. I think that would survive. But you see so far, everything in cluster number one, you have to do something. So there was never a universe in which the donut guy was to survive. The donut guy is going to starve to death in first cluster. Second cluster, paid leave. I don't think it survived. I've heard nothing about it. It was a very big provision Manchin was against. I don't think it's surviving. Second cluster is home repairs to weatherize your home. It's not going to survive because it's now check A. It's now check A. In that third cluster, the seniors checks. Well, the free internet for all, I got to tell you, free internet is out there right now, folks, so go get it. Do not wait for Build Back Better Act. There's free internet right now. In fact, last night I was speaking to one of the internet providers, and they actually have to tell you, there's a law now, they have to actually tell you that there's the Affordability Care Act that has the opportunity to potentially get your bill reduced to zero or dramatically reduced. That actually is all there as law. What about the seniors' money? The dental, vision, hearing, I don't know. And the lowering the eligibility age of Medicare, I don't know. The Medicaid gap fix, that's going to survive. What do we know was the deal with Joe Manchin? It was cheaper medication. So Joe Manchin agreed to the cheaper medication, but that's sort of a vague, bad reporting by reporters on Capitol Hill. I don't know how broadly that terminology includes these other provisions. Again, the takeaway is yes, you should be excited. Yes, you should be very happy. Yes, you should be very excited. Yes, you should be watching every video on a regular basis to see the updates on the Build Back Better Act, which are back on, baby, back on this channel. I'll be updating you on Build Back Better on a regular basis. But should you wait around for Build Back Better Act to pay you a check? No. Is that the only way you can get a check from Congress by vote of Congress? No, no, no. That's why I've taught viewers since the month of March. It is not. And it's actually going to be a smaller payout than the checks I have for you tonight. There's over $100,000 of checks available tonight. They have been law since the month of March. If you joined this video later into the recording, watch the earlier part of this recording where we went over these checks. Again, a forced stimulus check is in every U.S. state. You get it tonight. What do? You go under this video and you become a member. Get check A, get check B, get check C. It's over $100,000. This is federal stimulus from the federal government, from Joseph Biden. It is not from Congress. And what you need to do is go get it. You need to become a member. Go right in this video right now and get these big checks. Become a member and get the huge sums of money. We're running a little bit long on time tonight, so let me briefly go over the raise of your benefits. It's also featured in the newsletter. Your benefits are definitely going up, $300 more per month on average. 8% is the projected raise by the Social Security Chief Actuary, Joe Goss, but I projected to be a little bit higher, 9%. We will be looking at the data in the month of July, August, and September to learn it as well. But stay with me throughout the night. Stay with me throughout the weekend. Programming will continue with Evenings LALATE every night at 5 o'clock. Evenings Countdown at 6. Stream and Stimulus at 7. Extra at 8. And then our overnight show continues throughout the night, starting at 5:45 p.m. and continuing throughout the night. Go right in this video, become a member, get that incredible newsletter, and stay with LALATE throughout the weekend. Have a beautiful 4th of July weekend. And stay with LALATE for more.